Today's passage is coming from the Old Testament, from the book of Deuteronomy, and it is the Shema, Deuteronomy 6:4, which reads, "Hear, O Israel, the Lord our God, the Lord is one." David, what's the argument here?
Well, the argument is you Christians believe that God is three, right? When this clearly says that God is one.
So this is an anti-Trinitarian, basically.
Obviously, it says the Lord our God, the Lord is one, not three. Take a look at what the verse actually says. What it says in the Hebrew is Shema Yisrael, so hear, O Israel.
Right.
Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai, and it would actually be Yahweh here, but Jews didn't like saying the name, so they would say Adonai. They would say Adonai instead. Names the name of God three times, right?
Yahweh God.
Names
Yahweh
three titles of God, right? It names God three times and then just says one. Like saying God, 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 one. God, 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 one. And there's even a Jewish commentary, the Zohar, that draws attention to this and starts talking about the three names being one.
When you use the term oneness, if a Muslim means numerically one, in contrast to a second God or a third God, you have to explain what you mean by one. One what? For example, we can speak of one nation, one family, but the universe is complex. One of the clearest examples that the word echad, one, doesn't exclude a plurality. Genesis 2:24. It says, "For this reason a man shall leave his father and mother and cleave to his wife, cling to his wife, and the two shall become basar echad," one flesh. Here you have two distinct physical flesh bodies coming together and forming a unity, so that the text says they're actually one flesh, and the word for one is echad. If you read from Genesis and you read all the way throughout the Old Testament, you're going to find more than one divine person, even though it's still one God. Genesis 1, verses 1 and 2, it says, "In the beginning God created the heavens and the earth. The earth was formless and void. Darkness was over the surface of the deep, and the Spirit of God, Ruach Elohim, was hovering over the surface of the water." So you have God and a Spirit. They're both involved.
Was there ever a period when Jews were more open to a plurality within the one God?
In fact, we have textual proof for the assertion I'm about to make. In fact, the standard work on this is by the late author Alan F. Siegel, a Jewish scholar who wrote a book, Two Powers in Heaven. Evidence from Jewish sources, not Christian sources, demonstrate a large segment of the Jews thought that God was multi-personal because they believed in two divine powers.